What it is ain't exactly clear.
Yes, indeed, that sunrise inside your sweet little hide as we arise in conscious flight. Yeah, our heart helps us get it light. L-I-G-H-T-L-I-T-E, light, 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 in every way, in every direction, in all things that live. That's what we're beginning to see and receive and be. A glittering, glowing presence of a living reality, resonating back to us from the creation around us, as well as anchored firmly in the resonation of our person inside. Yeah, babies, inside is the outside ride too, man, I'm telling you. That's what we're beginning to feel. It's all coming true. The dream you have held forever in your heart. Do you know how few people there are on this earth right now awakening with you? Everyone and everything. You're designed that way. You're the opener, the can opener. Boy, you're not opening nothing but a can of creation, man. And it really can't be contained in a little tin container, a little tin vessel like that, as the Tin Man discovered. Yet it can work through, and it is in everything. The one love in all, the pure love of light, of life that we're seeing now. And because we can see it, others be it. This is the and how of this reality and of this moment of now. We're doing it. We're not messing around. There's just a few of us, a handful, not even that. But yet, that's enough. It's all it takes. 1, 2, 3, 7, 10, 15, whatever. It can be an odd or an even number, doesn't matter. Usually it's in some combination of 7 because of a mystical roll to that. But the rock is in the 8 because it goes round and round and never stops. You know, you lay it on its side, you got creation, man. Stacking itself up in a great big old figure 8 again and again. That's the relativity of time for real. Kind of in a symbolic and poetic way. You know that number 8? But the 7s are the basic elemental things, the 7 points of light from which creation arises. There's a center being, a presence that's fully present in all the rest of the other 6 elements. Then there's the north, south, east, west, the sky and the earth, those points, those elements of light, which are the sky, which are the earth, and all the directions in it. And you, the life at the center, the heart, the resonating love. That's where 7 comes from. That's where the pyramids reflecting themselves and budded together comes from, that elongated crystalline. I call it a tetrahedron. You call it what it will. But that's the field of love we operate in. And from its points, its 7 points of light, arises the ball of life which surrounds us. You see, that's creation in motion through the 7 points of light, which is our conscious heart at the center of that creation, expression itself out in these directions, which really represent the 360-degree field of the sphere. This is why, I'm sorry guys, but this is why some people have been trying to take you away from the attitude of the spherical world, that this is a paradigm, a matrix, and that this is really just a flat stage that looks curved, you know, etc. But this is why. See, in the sphere is the mother love fully expressed and present. In reality, it's kind of a donut shape because there's a field around you like a donut hole, and creation arises just beyond that. That's your field of being, your field of thought, your field of creation, your nest of love in which you do create. And sometimes you'll let other ones in, and sometimes you won't. But see, that old formula is all changing. As we realize our centered place in these 7 points of light quite naturally, and our arousal into creation in the spherical rounded way, 360 degrees. It's the way of creation, for heck's sakes. Everything's soft and circular. Everything. From the tiniest element in life to the hugest expression of it. It circles everywhere. It all goes round and round. That's why human beings have been building square and rectangular for so long. Because it's a denial of our own presence and a reminder of that denial in every structure we create, except for those who are able to hang on to it a little more closely and knew enough to live in rounded out houses. then you remember the more feminine nature of it. See, the squareness is the masculine's denial of the mother nature inside of it, saying to itself that, no, I am superior to this nature, or something of a similar sort. It's a various thought in different people, but that's the base essence of it. That's the denial of the truth that we've lived in for so long. And that's why men become so wild and crazy and have to hunt and kill and scream like in the forest and stuff. Because they feel like mother's love, in some deep and basic way, has turned against them. And that they are there to dominate them and make her, force her to respect them. You know, now I'm sorry to reveal such an element in this reality, but that's the very basis of the male existence as is given in the earth reality in the times we've lived before this moment of now. It's a sad thing. Most males are motivated by that essential presence, that need to dominate, because they don't feel sufficient. They feel insufficient. They feel like they're always caving in on themselves, and they're always on the verge of panic. And this is what makes them vile and violent. They're that frustrated with their own existence, the emptiness, the pale, lonely emptiness. You know, that's worse than a howl at the moon ever dreamed of being. It's a cry for love that goes so deep it's beyond comprehension, so lost in its own dark world that it can't help but bring itself back to the light now. Because it's had enough of that sheer dominance, that element, that lusting energy that just couldn't get enough of it, because it just had to control it, contain it. And when it couldn't do that, destroy it. Show your arrogance. Beat it down. Create religions that deny it right and left. Create gods that tell us that women are evil and they're temptresses and vile and all this kind of shit. Witches, yeah. Let's go kill some witches today, Butch. Okay, man, yeah, right. See, that's the past. But we're rising up out of those attitudes at last. You see, this is one of the biggest benefits that came from the 60s and 70s, even though it tore the family apart, the family unit apart, which was the solid backbone of the reality we lived in before that time. But it was time for us to realize a larger family anyway. But the divine feminine presence began to manifest itself in a different way in 62, 63. You know, who gives it a specific year, but somewhere it began to shift big time. And it was augmented by a few things in the material reality, like the pill and so forth, that essentially set hearts free to be and do as they felt in the heart, you know. But it was really in a much larger sense. It wasn't just a bunch of cheesy and cheap sex, man. In a larger sense, it was an awakening of immense proportions, an acknowledgement of the divine and of the search for the divine inside of the male presence forever, because it had so long denied the feminine in itself that it was, despite the little titties on its chest and all the other obvious sign, that it was not of the mother, that it was of something different. Something a little more solid, like a tree, you know? Yeah, right. Well, that's of the mother, too. And it's all built of tiny little circles, little cells and atoms, little elements of light in those cells and atoms that activate them and bring them to life and give them the structure and form they take. And see, all men have to do now is just allow that old vision to fade away. You know, I think football will lose its popularity as it does. But when you recognize that you've hated the symbolic woman as your hatred of the divine presence, because you felt rejected by her, for whatever the reason, man, look at these elemental feelings. Now, that's what I'm pointing out to you. In relative terms, this exists in every male presence that is, or has done so. A lot of you are working your way out of it, don't know what to do with it, you know. You don't know whether you need to be all soft and femmy or what. You don't even know what the divine feminine is. You've so long denied it in yourself. And culturally, we've been conditioned that way. Genetically, we've been engineered that way. There's been great alteration of our structures and our way of thought and form and expression here. Because there was a need for an age of vileness, so that's how we created it. It's a simple formula. But it did what it was here to do, and it distressed the whole reality almost to the point of extinction several times over. But like the coyotes that we are, we come back with a vengeance every time, and each time we're more passionate in our search for the heart, and it's more intense. It's in a sweet way, really, but boy, it gets out of hand. It gets wild, and that's why we get wild and crazy and insane sometimes. It's gotten to be a bit too much in the past. But see, we're not living there. We're just recalling little moments of it. Pleasurably so we can be a little more at peace in this moment and see where it's all led and where it all leads. The bigger picture. The truth. The mother love inside of everyone that lives, male or female, whether you're given a genderic presence that matches your body or not. We understand the differences. So do you. You've chosen that challenge for yourself because it's an interesting one. You like the intrigue of it. Gave you something to do besides be bored for the rest of your life, right? Because you knew the magic moment would come, but you had to keep yourself entertained in the process, and you were an experimenter, an experiencer, so you allowed a far different aspect for yourself than others around you. Well, in a way, you're more honest with yourself already, and that brought you back to the Divine Mother. Anyway, all paths lead in that direction. That's the center spoke of the hub of life. The center hub, I should say, where all spokes lead and are supported from, the mother love. Turning on the son's love, which is the mother's love too. All is created of that essential sangre de Cristo. You see, this is why it's so symbolic in this reality and so righteously honored in some kind of religious ways, but it's kind of archaic and silly. But that's what it represents, that colorful love that is the source, basic essence of life. The light, the mother love, from which we're all formed, see? And that's just how it be. So babies, just live it. It's a thrilling Thursday, but the thrill comes real quietly, through a deepening of our presence and our own understanding, of our place in creation, yes, but of creation's place with us, I mean. And why Mother would allow it to be this way in the first place. See, children can get lost in the playpen when they want to, because it's designed to really keep them from destroying everything and hurting themselves really bad. But it's also designed so you can hurt yourself here. You can roll around and scream and cry for a while too, you know, get a little nurture and love because of it, but you get right back in action, Jackson. It's a playpen. We're active little children. We won't stop till we find what we're looking for. We forgot what we lost, but we found it already. So now we can let the child out. In a way, it's a maze, yeah. In a way, it's a puzzle, you know, something we had to reason within ourselves and kind of figure out. But in another way, it's just something we had to live long enough to be. Because there were sufficient beings around us carrying the energies for us that we could focus more intently on this avenue, this aspect of reality. And thank goodness for that. Isn't it funny how life arranges itself so you can? And that you are, and you're doing it now? On a thrilling Thursday, baby, and how. Bless you for being, bless you for your sweet love and everything that lives, and babies, keep on trucking. Let this glow come forward. Feel the softness in your heart. For some of you, it'll be the first time in many lifetimes, because the hardness has rode us hard, man. It has. And put us away wet, too, but we're coming out of the stable, alive and dry and shiny, man, like we just been given a fluff and buff by the greatest scientific creator that ever there was. Because it is scientific in its sense, not rigidly so, but it's always fun. That's the science in it. See, and that's the coyote medicine, deeply so. When you realize that simple reality, that it really is always fun, when you feel that and live it, you transformed it, baby. Already. See how simply it's done? Ain't this fun? Getting on the coyote run early in the day on the Coyote Medicine Show with Grandpaw Coyote and a whole flock of angels and ancestors, don't you know? Well, you can call them E.T. cousins too, but these are angelic presences, everyone. Filled with our own love and light. Come back to reflect it to us so we can remember our deep association with our tribe all through the generations. And then understand and take our life to a whole new level, babies. We got through the hardest part of our re-education. Now we get to rock and roll and party a whole bunch more. Because the medicine's flowing through your soul now, babies, and we just love you for it. Can't embrace you or appreciate you enough, but there we are appreciating you and embracing you. And being one within you the same as you are in all of this creation. Yes, we are. Yes, we are. Hug a tree today and see what you see. And be what you be. Love the sun. If you get it, if it comes in liquid form, love that too. Love all that is, because that's you.
My heart